Hello there, and welcome to A Film a Day with me, Jordan Woodley. I'm starting to get the feeling that I cover Alfred Hitchcock as a director more than I think I do any other director. Now, that might be going through the videos, that might not turn out to be the case, but in regards to themes and arcs that I'm going through in the process of doing this series, I do feel like I'm getting quite a deep dive examination of Hitchcock, but not from the conventional perspective, which are his classics, where he really carved out his oeuvre. Because To Catch a Thief, again, is a very almost un-Hitchcock-like Hitchcock film. As in being an earlier film in his career, not really being a thriller. There is thriller elements to it, but not really. And playing more into conventional storytelling, Hollywood storytelling of that time, means you only get the tiniest slivers of Hitchcock, rather than feeling like you're submerged within his style or his auteurship. Very similar to how I felt when I watched A Lady Vanishes. There are moments where you go, oh, that is genuinely brilliant, but you have to get through a lot of stuff that you think, this feels underdeveloped, feels disingenuous, but perhaps more conventional. So it doesn't feel. It feels like well-trodden storytelling in a lot of places. I mean, I'm glad that I've followed this up by having talked about The Old Man and the Gun, because, of course, this is, broadly speaking, within the model of the gentleman thief and the idea of a villainous protagonist, although in this case this is more in the more traditional reformed criminal, so it's not quite the anti-villain that I was talking about with Robert Redford. But you do get that sense of someone who is constantly walking the line and being on the precipice of being seduced back into his old ways and his old life. And Cary Grant plays that so well, because you get the sense of someone who is on the cusp of being seduced, even though he is trying to clear his name and trying to not quite turn over a new leaf, but maintain the life that he's built for himself. You get that constant pull and push of someone who could easily slip into bad habits. And again, though it's never shown on screen, the fact that Cary Grant is constantly playing that, and of course against Grace Kelly, who there is something, and this is the thing that is remarkable about this film, is there's something very, and for lack of a better term, sexy about this film. There's something incredibly, there's a great amount of innuendo and inference and implication in the way that these characters interact, particularly Grace Kelly and Cary Grant, but then also, what was her name again, my love? The French girl. Aubrey... Waiting for producer wife Helen to tell me. This would be a third actor. No? Okay. Okay, but the girl who plays Danielle, again, there is a chemistry between Cary Grant and her, even though she is younger, and there is supposed to be that... Bridget Orber, that's right. Bridget Orber, again, even though there is the sort of implication of it being more inappropriate, she is of age, it's not criminal, but the fact that she is, as it's constantly referred to, a teenager, and yet she is constantly making insinuations and making her intent clear towards Cary Grant's character. You get that pull and push of two women who are both very dangerous and seductive. And as I said, there is this real sexual undercurrent to the whole thing. There is particularly, and this is the best sequence, is when Grace Kelly is about to and then does show her hand, in that she knows who Cary Grant is. She knows his actual identity, and that she is both willing to expose him if he doesn't go her way, but also wants to indulge in the life of his former life. You know, there's that line where she says, the cat, which is his moniker, you know, has a new kitten. And of course there is some real, well, again, there's a real sense of sexuality in there, in a line read that she gives. But of course, when you get through that, the way that she's seducing him, of course, is more the text of it is seducing him back into his criminal ways, and the ways that she's, you know, teasing him with her pearls, and sort of giving him the sense of, oh, we could team up, and we could, you know, sort of referring to places that they could case and then rob. But of course, the undertone being very surface level sexual. I mean, of course, the moment when she invites him to her hotel room, and she has the pearls around her neck, and she invites him to feel the pearls, and of course at the same time the fireworks are going off, and then they kiss, and then of course in the 1950s way, it cuts to, it fades from them kissing to the fireworks to the next morning, with the implication being in place, but with not being so obvious that censors obviously would be able to give it a red mark. But like I say, it oozes that for a lot of the film, particularly the scene when Cary Grant is swimming out into the waters and he's talking to Danielle, who's on the boat and splayed out, and then Grace Kelly swims over, and again there's that real love triangle sort of pull to one dangerous woman to the other dangerous woman, and it again, like I said, that is where you get the real Hitchcock, the sort of psychosexual thriller aspect of it. Unfortunately, like A Lady Vanishes, other than that, it then goes into more traditionalist storytelling, and so when it has the revelation of who the real active thief is, and when Cary Grant is able to clear his name, that's fairly conventional, and you go, yes. And again, I think it's the same problem with A Lady Vanishes, and Rope, Alfred Hitchcock managed to find a way around it by saying this isn't a whodunit. We know who's done it. It's the reverse of that, because the problem with something like To Catch a Thief is we are presented a very theatrical style cast of characters, in terms of we know who our main characters are, and we know that the thief is going to end up being one of those characters. And once you're able to make that deduction, you know, you're able to sort of deduce from that who it could be. It's who it ends up being, though you might not get there. It's still not that interesting, because of course it is one of those, well, of course, who else could it be type of stories. And I think that's the stuff that doesn't appeal to me. If anything, this to me makes a much more interesting romance drama with this sort of thief, criminal thriller element underneath it, rather than the reverse, really, which is it's supposed to be this crime thriller first and then a sort of romance drama second. But I would be interested to see, and actually that's one thing I didn't look up before making the video, is I would be interested to see a To Catch a Thief remake. I would love to see how it would be done now, and how the sort of relationship between these three people could be portrayed in sort of a more modern sense, and of course the supporting characters, you know, like Facade and the police detective and the I feel like the roles could be quite interesting, and the relationships could be quite interesting, and the setting is, again, European settings, Alfred Hitchcock using Technicolor, so this is 55, still where a lot of films fall back on black and white. This absolutely glows with Technicolor, and I think that's another enhancement to the film. It looks gorgeous, and again, being set in the Riviera, there's just such beauty to it. But as I say, I would be interested to see what a modern retelling of that story would be like. But regardless, it's, like I said, it's interesting going through his career and seeing some of his earlier works. I feel like the trajectory I'm going on will mean that at some point I will go to some of the other classics other than Psycho, like Vertigo, like The Birds. But we'll see how it goes, with my scheduling and all. Anyway, thank you for joining me. If you like this video, hit the like button, comment below and share the video, because this will help me in the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel and hit that bell to get notifications of when new videos are uploaded. Check out my back catalogue of over 200 videos. And follow me on Twitter at Jordan_Woodley, where I tweet about TV shows and films. And I share these videos once they're uploaded to YouTube either the day of or the day after. Thank you for joining me. Take care.